As we travel along to the different heritage sites in the country, we've gathered people to guide us because we need to learn the real story behind various statements. Rashomon effect is a term related to the notorious unreliability of eyewitnesses. It describes a situation in which an event is given contradictory interpretations or descriptions by the individuals involved. In the 1950s, there was a famous movie about this, directed by Akira Kurosawa. One of the most unfortunate and widely accepted ideas about historical thinking is that history is written by the victors. The main point of this is that it asserts the truth of the past that is not shaped by historical scholars or a factual understanding, but it might be because of political and cultural leaders on the winning side of the story. In this episode of Historia, we will know more about our first group within our Council of Consultants. Hey! What's up? I'm Mark Pangilinan, your kulit traveler from Limang Siglo, and welcome to Historia, Story Within History. In this series, we will hear the stories of every place we visit. Let's explore, enhance our knowledge, but more importantly, enjoy, while deepening our understanding of our history. We will know more about our first consultant, Dr. Danilo Madrid Gerona, a historian, professor, and an author. He was born and raised in Naga City.
I was born actually in Naga City and Bicol region. Yeah, but I live here in Canacman, the next town from the city of Naga.
Nueva Caceres, now Naga City, is one of the royal cities founded by the Spaniards in Southeast Asia, together with Vigan, Manila, and Cebu.
You have to understand, Mark, that Naga is one also of the historic cities because one of the four first royal cities founded by the Spaniards in Southeast Asia, together with Manila, Cebu, Vigan, and we have Nueva Caceres, which is now Naga City. So I was born in Naga City. I live here in Canacman, in the nearby town of Naga. Yeah, I studied regionally here in my hometown, then in University of Nueva Caceres in Naga City. Then I went to Ateneo de Manila for my college and my master's. And also, I studied in philosophy, specialized in political theories for my AB and my MA.
Dr. Hirona and Cardinal Tagle are schoolmates when Dr. Hirona entered the seminary.
And then I actually studied for a while to become a Jesuit. I was going to become a Jesuit priest. It was. I was with Cardinal Tagle together in the seminary. He was a theologian. I was a philosopher. So I was called, but it was wrong number. So I had to dial up. So I have to change my course. After my philosophy, I, of course, pursued another degree. My master's also in political philosophy. And then I realized that I can contribute more if I'm going to work on history. So with my philosophical knowledge, it's very, very useful to analyze documents. I started, I studied, I take my AB and my MA at the Ateneo de Manila. Then I pursued my PhD in UP. But then, after my PhD, I have to spend much of my time in the archives for sort of a postdoctoral research. The reason is because if you are a historian, Mark, you cannot really study reading the documents in the class. You only know how to document, how to read the documents if you immerse yourself in the documents. And that's how you learn how to translate, how you acquire the nuances, because there is no historical Spanish in the classroom being taught. The only kind of Spanish that you will learn would be the Spanish that everyone studies. So if you want to learn the historical Spanish, 16th century, you have to go to the archives, and that's where you have to do your postdoctoral work in the archives. Spain, I did much of my work in the archives of Sevilla, Archivo General de Indias in Seville, the Archivo de los Padres Agostinos de Filipinas in Valladolid. This is the largest archives of the Augustinians. I did much of my work also in the AFIO, Archivo Franciscano Ibero-Oriental of the Franciscans in Madrid, the Biblioteca Nacional de España in Madrid, the Museo Naval in Madrid, the Real Academia de la Historia in Madrid. And so these are the places where I did much of my work as a historian, aside from my, of course, academic degrees.
Dr. Hirona is a member of Sevilla 2019-2022 that is leading and coordinating the global celebration of the 500-year anniversary of Ferdinand Magellan's circumnavigation of the world. Our next consultant is Mr. Alex del Rosario Castro, the current curator of Holy Angel University Center for Kapampangan Studies. He is also known as a co-author of Filipino, a book about Filipino trivias.
Well, I'm Alex Castro. It's short for Alexander Maynardo del Rosario Castro. I currently work as a consultant for Holy Angel University, and concurrently I am the museum curator, so in charge of all the little museums here, from the Manansala Gallery to the Center for Kapampangan Studies Archival Museum. I am not professionally trained as a curator. Mostly, I did this, it's a play it by ear, and because I love museums, I would often visit museums in Makati, and when I'm away, I would make it a point to visit museums abroad, and I would be very observant on how things are displayed, on how things are presented, and how the narratives are related. So I had a natural feel for it. So when I went to Holy Angel, this is my retirement job. I actually set up the museum of the Center for Kapampangan Studies, archival museum upstairs, and had a hand in designing the gallery of Manansala in the Museum of Kapampangan Arts.
Few years ago, Mr. Alex Castro organized the painting collection of Vicente Manansala at Holy Angel University Center for Kapampangan Studies Vicente Manansala Collection. Vicente Manansala was born in Macabebe, Pampanga, and one of the national artists of the Philippines in visual arts.
So we were happy to be the repository of many of the national artists' sketches and drawings in charcoal and pencil a few years ago. So we had to organize them differently. My intent was to show the progression of the style of this national artist from Macabebe. So we started with, let's say, when he started, he was a realist painter. So which meant he was a conservative painter. He used to paint mga bahay kubo or draw kalabaw, the usual rustic landscapes. And then you can see after he went to Europe, to France for his scholarship, his drawings and art style was gravitating towards or metamorphosing into modern cubist style. So that was how I presented it. And then it culminates, if you look at the exhibit, it culminates into, a recreation of his studio, because we also inherited some of the studio, including his chairs, his paints, his brushes, his National Artist Medal, and some paraphernalia from his home. So, again, as a curator, you need to look for a particular point of view on how to tell a story. So since nobody knows the timeline of Manansala, because very few know that he is from Macabebe, so I opted to go with that storyline.
How you research about those stories po? How you,
Again, I am what you may call I'm not a historian. That's why I sometimes cringe when people introduce me as a historian. Ako magagalit yung mga tunay na historians yan. I have a course in chemistry and communication arts. That's my background.
Sir Lord Francis Musni is also one of our consultants in this series. He is a Kapampangan historian and the consultant and archivist of Holy Angel University Center for Kapampangan Studies. Here is a clip of Sir Francis when he told the story of La Naval de Bacolor.
Ining debusyon na ning ganawal kay Tiking Bakulod, ini makayamot siya king debusyon kay Nuestra Señora del Santísimo Rosario. Pero siyempre yung inspirasyon na, alang aliwano na yung ganawal na ning Manila. Baluta mo na kay Tiking Pilipinas, iba't yung papakilala rin ka sa Pantayanan, makatkat yung debusyon king Indong Birhen.
Sir Francis Musni is also a professor and the curator at Don Honorio Ventura State University, the oldest vocational school in the Far East Asia.
At dakal tagulaling o advocation, tingin dong birhen, rin eswita, pakilala rin debusyon keng Immaculada Concepcion, rin naman Dominico, pakilala rin debusyon keng Nuestra Señora del Santísimo Rosario, na may house na namang mitagulalangang danaval. Kaya Tiking Bakulod, anyang petsang bandang 1786, pakilala rin kaya tiing debusyon king Lanaval. Ami kilalang Naval ng Bakulod.
Sir Francis is an expert in Kapampangan cuisine, but he also self-trained to be a culinary genius. Pampanga is known for their cooking. That is why it is the culinary capital of the Philippines. He regularly posts his cooking on his personal page and in Culinaria Pampangenya, a social media page. As we journey through the past, our council of consultants will be the light to all the questions in our mind. They will help us to understand the real, or should I say, legit facts about our history. Join me in exploring the rich history of our cultural heritage. Time flies so fast, but every minute is a story. Thank you for watching this episode. I'm your coolie traveler, Mark Pangilinan. Our national hero Jose Rizal once said, "He who does not know how to look back at where he came from will never get to his destination." See you again next week, and this is Historia, story within history. Here at Historia, we don't have a monopoly in knowledge, talent, and information. If you would like to be one of our council of consultants, we would be more than willing to discuss it with you. Just email us at mark@limangsiglo.org or message us on Limang Siglo Facebook page.